Good Tuesday afternoon. Meteorologist Ali Turiano in the 4-1 Weather Center, wanting to talk about what we're seeing outside currently and what we can expect over the next 24 to 36 hours. We've had some breaks in the clouds. It's warm, it's muggy, it's breezy, strong southerly winds, lots of moisture to work with, just no precipitation yet. And as we go into the early evening hours, the chances for a shower or storm still remain pretty low. The difference will be for our far west northwestern zones, and that's where we expect thunderstorm development very similar to last night, and that is where a strong to severe storm will be possible. Not necessarily likely, but it is possible. I think as you get closer to Wichita Falls, better strong to severe storm chances there. Now, going through tomorrow, more than one way to receive severe weather alerts. We will need that because we've got a couple of rounds of showers and thunderstorms. We're likely to see things sub-severe early in the day, and then that'll start to ramp up afternoon and evening hours. At that point, with the heavy rainfall, our flood threat will increase, and then we eventually get a brief break, most of us, on Thursday, and then for the weekend, more thunderstorms are in the forecast. So the severe threat tonight off to the north and west at this point. Currently, no watches in effect for our northwestern zones. We did have one yesterday. At this point, not expecting a watch, but that is something we will pay very close attention to in the coming hours. And then as we go through Wednesday, the severe threat, not that it shifts, but it does. It basically spreads across all of North Texas. It doesn't mean everyone is going to have severe weather. It just means that across the entire region, conditions are going to be pretty much the same everywhere. So a storm could go severe in not one area more than the other. A slight risk is a 2 on the 1 to 5 scale. And that, of course, will continue through tomorrow at the most active time this evening in our northwestern zones, and then across all of North Texas tomorrow. Wind and hail, the greatest threats, but tomorrow we do have an isolated tornado threat. It's lower compared to our wind and hail threats, but it's still there. It's something to be aware of. And when it comes to rainfall totals, many of us in that 1 to 3 inch range, where we have the flood concerns closer to the Red River, isolated areas above 3 inches of rainfall. So that's just talking about those individual things. Here's how it looks graphically for you. So in that moderate chance is the wind and hail. The tornado chance is low for your county, but again, it's not zero. The localized flooding, I think, is even a higher chance than our tornado threat, honestly, when it comes to what we can expect for tomorrow. Very high coverage, about 70% of us receiving rain and thunderstorms, but even a lower chance of that for the severe weather. So radar still looking very quiet close to home. Can't rule out a shower or rumble for the next few hours, but honestly, I think those chances are low. We've only seen very light showery precipitation off to the north and west at this point. Pulling out, you can see where the thunderstorm watch box is. And like yesterday, our front and dry line still well to the west, but this is getting very active south of Lubbock, all the way down to far southwest of San Angelo. So those storms will trek in a more northeasterly movement. And then along the front, lots of stormy weather currently in Oklahoma. So for us to get these higher rain chances, we need the dry line in front to get closer to us, and that's exactly what's going to take place tomorrow. So from now until then, our eyes will be to the west and northwest. By 7, 8 o'clock, we're going to have some showers and storms, not necessarily in North Texas, but getting a little bit closer, and that activity will continue to impact parts of Montague, as well as maybe Wise County, Jack County, and we'll continue to see that north and west stormy activity for us into the late night hours. Not as much expected for DFW. And then by tomorrow morning, more scattered showers and some rumbles will likely move in. I think we start to increase coverage getting through your afternoon. Not necessarily severe earlier in the day, but getting mid to late afternoon hours, I think that severe threat does go up. And at this point, all modes of severe weather will be possible. And that means while wind and hail are the greatest concerns, we could have an isolated tornado in these individual thunderstorm cells. That could very well happen. One more little push of energy going through the late evening hours. By the time we get to midnight, the heavier stuff shifts to the south and east, and then everyone quiets down overnight into Thursday morning. So tonight's round of potential thunderstorms, generally north and west. Tomorrow is across all of North Texas, with the bulk of that heavier, more intense stuff happening in the afternoon and evening hours. So we'll be here tracking all of it for you. Again, make sure to have more than one way to receive severe weather alerts.
This is a Fox 4 Warn Weather Alert.
Hello, meteorologist Ali Turiano back in the 4-1 Weather Center, giving you an update on what you can expect for the rest of today and beyond, specifically tonight and tomorrow when those thunderstorm chances really start going up. First off, our flood watch has been added in a few more counties. We're looking at a second row of counties, so not just the Red River, but we expect Delta as well as Hopkins, Hunt, Collin, Denton, Wise, Jack counties northward. So what does that mean? These are the areas where we expect some of the higher rain totals, up to 3 inches of rainfall with isolated up to 5. So a flash flood concern will be out there. Now, officially, the flood watch is in effect currently, but this is really only going to take place during our late night and hours, and tomorrow is when those rain chances are much higher, and that's when the flood threat is really going to go up. Tonight, it's all about the far northwestern zones where that thunderstorm threat is highest. No watches in effect for us, but I'd say if you're from Graham to Bowie, Wichita Falls, that's where we've got a thunderstorm threat this evening. That activity is going to try to shift eastward, but odds are it's going to dissipate a whole lot, just like it did last night. So the more north and west you go, the better chance for some showers and storms tonight, with a low chance for a severe storm. Tomorrow, a bit of a different story. Coverage will be much higher across the region, and I expect the severe threat to pretty much be the same everywhere. Now, it doesn't mean everyone's going to have severe weather, but it means that as these storms develop, really any of them could be strong to severe, with all modes of severe weather possible. So what does that mean? We're in a slight risk. That's a 2 on the 1 to 5 scale beginning tonight and tomorrow. It means that while, yes, wind and hail, greater threats, an isolated tornado is not out of the question for your Wednesday too. Some of the dynamics in the atmosphere are there for that to take place, but I do believe the wind and hail threat much greater than the tornado threat. And then on top of that, the flooding threat likely much greater than our tornado threat. So we're looking at a window for our northwestern zones after 8-9 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow we begin with showers and storms kind of scattered in nature. And then the severe threat and that chance will go up going through the afternoon and evening, with the wind and hail again in that moderate chance in your county for that thunderstorm, along with the flooding, and then our tornado threat low but not zero. We have had a very quiet day for the most part. Some breaks in the clouds here or there, strong southerly winds, all that moisture to work with. It feels very uncomfortable. But like yesterday, our front remains off to the north and that dry line to the west, which is where we've had a lot of thunderstorm development along these boundaries. And that is also where a severe thunderstorm watch is currently in effect. So for us to get these stronger storms, we got to get these boundaries closer to us. And that's exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. So throughout the rest of the afternoon, early evening, low chance for a shower. And then by 7-8 o'clock, we're going to see that stuff get closer to Wichita Falls. And then we'll watch it trek into our far northwestern zones, likely to have at least a little bit of weakening with that activity late tonight. And then heading through tomorrow, spotty showers and some rumbles for the morning. Coverage begins to increase 30–40% as we get to noon. And it will continue to do that as the afternoon goes on. And that is when we're expected to have that strong to severe thunderstorm threat. And it will continue through your evening. By the time we get to midnight, the heavier stuff is shifting to the south and east. And then by about 3–4 a.m., everything is out of here. And for most of us, we get a break on Thursday before more thunderstorm activity expected on Friday. So we want you to have more than one way to receive severe weather alerts, and know that you can count on us here at Fox 4 to keep you forewarned.